Happy Halloween, my friends. I am your host, Count Vampire. As you could see, the evening fog has set in on my castle dungeon. It is a bit hard to see. Had to light some candles in order to see a little bit better. I hope you all are having a wonderful Halloween. Old Vampire will be out soon. Had to untuck my jabot here to look a little more fancy. Untucked it too much. Just put it back in your vest, Vampire. Should have spruced up before video. But we will be reading, as per custom, a special Halloween book to follow up from Friday Night Frights. And we will be reading Disney's Legend of Sleepy Hollow. This is one of my favorite stories, originally written by Washington Irving, and it has been adapted into several renditions of movie and cartoon version. Disney has immortalized it in the cartoon and also has adapted it into their amusement park. They have big headless horseman ride or headless horseman in middle of park that smoke shoots out nostrils and all kinds of scary stuff. No Vampire has not had yet chance to go see it because they will not let me in the park because I scare everybody away. And they say you have to dress more human to come in. So one day I will make it there and dress mundanely as human to go see the Headless Horseman and go to a haunted house ride and really see how haunted the house is. Okay. So it says, long ago, a new school teacher arrived in a small town of Sleepy Hollow. He was tall and thin, like a scarecrow, with a small head and a pointy nose. His name was Ichabod Crane. Ichabod was a strict teacher. Some people liked him. Others, like Brom Bones, thought he was strange. Brom enjoyed playing tricks on Ichabod, but Ichabod never seemed to mind. Brom was a bit of bully, little jealous, I think. Ichabod was soon invited to a Halloween party, and he dressed in his finest clothes, as you can see here. At the party, Ichabod ate and danced and laughed, and charming everyone around him. It was the perfect night until the host of the party called for the guests to tell stories. So you can see right there. And that was very common in that era, to tell stories. You had to do something to entertain each other. So storytelling was very popular for a very long time. Ichabod did not like scary stories. Brom Bones went first. He was jealous of Ichabod because everyone liked him. Brom hoped his tale frightened the school teacher so much that he would leave Sleepy Hollow forever. His story was about the Headless Horseman, a character who had a flaming pumpkin where his head should be. Every Halloween night, the ghost would ride through the town looking for someone to trade heads with. He would try to catch any stranger he found in the woods, and he would not cross, and yet he could not cross the bridge at the edge of town. These are the pictures, if you could see them. As Bram told the story, poor Ichabod grew very afraid. He was shaking down to his boots. Although Ichabod knew that ghosts weren't real, the woods felt dark and scary as he traveled home later that night. The tree branches looked like hands reaching out to grab him. Can you see this in the darkness of the dungeon? It was a midnight jamboree. Remember that song? It takes up your head so easily. Good song. Oh, shut up, phone. Sorry, forgot to mute it. Crickets sounded like they were calling his name. Croaking frogs seemed to be crying, saying, Headless Horseman, Headless Horseman, or Ichabod, Ichabod, Ichabod. Frightened, Ichabod urged his horse to run. The horse's name was Gunpowder. They raced blindly through the dark until they reached a clearing. The pictures. And they stopped to rest, and they still heard hoofbeats. Something was coming for them, and they hid in fear. Ta-dum, 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 ta-dum. Ah ha 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 ha! When Ichabod realized the sound was some reeds that were banging on the hollow tree trunk, he and the horse laughed. They felt silly as they had imagined that it was the Headless Horseman. You see that? The pictures. But just when they were, fog coming in again, goodness. Who let the fog out? Stop honking your horn too. Gosh. Fog obscuring vampire's vision. Gotta wait for fog to clear. Terrible foggy night. But just when there was a feeling, they were feeling safe, another laugh joined theirs. An evil laugh, an angry laugh, a ghoulish laugh. It was the Headless Horseman. Ichabod and his horse jumped up and ran. The ghost followed them into the woods, down the riverbank, through the water, across the field, and they raced away from the headless horseman. But the ghost wanted Ichabod's head, and it wasn't going to stop until it reached him. Oh, goodness. Finally, Ichabod saw a bridge in the distance, and he remembered that crossing the bridge meant safety, so he urged his horse to go faster. But with the final burst of speed, they made it across. Oh, good for them. But the headless horseman was not done. The ghost heaved its flaming pumpkin head straight at Ichabod Crane. The next morning, only Ichabod's hat and a few pieces of pumpkin were found laying on the ground. I think the headless horseman may have been a little perturbed at him. The school teacher was never seen again. Some people say that Ichabod left Sleepy Hollow for good, finding happiness in another town. But others say the headless horseman took him away. But what do you think happened to Ichabod? Do you think he was spirited away by the headless horseman? Or do you think it was Brom Bones that played the headless horseman out of jealousy to scare Ichabod out of Sleepy Hollow? And did Ichabod run away to a neighboring town to spend the rest of his days teaching school and living his life happy with a family and children, alive with his head on his shoulders? The ending is up to you. So there you have it, my friends. The legend of Sleepy Hollow. I hope that you enjoyed the reading. Thank you so much for participating in Friday Night Fright Season 8. I really appreciate your support this year. And next year, I hope that we will have more supporters come out and enjoy it with me. And I will make plans to have it even better and have more effects, hopefully, for next year. So until then, have a fun and safe Halloween. Trick or treat in groups. Have your parents inspect your candy. Don't go into strangers' houses. Don't trick or treat alone. Don't eat anything unwrapped unless you know who it's from. And remember, be kind to everyone. Be kind to yourselves and to animals. They know nothing but unconditional love. And stay spooky, my friends. And happy Halloween. And stay tuned, because Joe Motion will be here this week for a G.I. Joe review. So until next year, Friday Night Frights will be returning, but old Vampire be back for toy reviews and stuff. So until then, I bid thee adieu. Pleasant nightmares.